So my favorite part of the work is creating narratives. I like taking a customer story and clarifying it uh, to make it beautiful through design. That's my ultimate goal. I think design is like creating a painting, choosing colors, and creating a composition that flows and integrates like a puzzle. And when the pieces come together and the story tells itself aesthetically and logically, it's very fulfilling.
Good morning, Albuquerque. It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and that means it's time for 1 Million Cups. We have a full house today, so I'm going to take a little bit of time to explain what Million Cups is and what we're all doing here. So we're caffeinating entrepreneurs every Wednesday morning at almost 200 locations all across the United States. It's time to check in. Point your phone at the QR code and let 1 Million Cups know you're here. If you check in on 3 occasions, you'll get a pen. On 6 occasions, you'll get a notebook. This is our mission. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to facilitate entrepreneurship by lowering the barrier to access to education, resources, and connections for new and aspiring entrepreneurs all across the United States. And we accomplish that through a national and local mission. The national mission is promoted by the Kauffman Foundation, and that was founded by a very hardworking man that came home from World War II and sold drugs as a pharma rep door to door and worked his way up to a compounding pharmacy. And the idea of 1 Million Cups is that anybody that gets up, shows up for work, and takes care of their customers can succeed as an entrepreneur. So that's the program that trains our organizers and how to coach our presenters. And we also take advantage of all of the local resources that are available in the community. For example, Global Ties, which is responsible for bringing many of our guests here today. So how do we work toward that mission? We have a consistent program for training the organizers and the presenters. That's nationwide. We're part of a region, the Southwest. We're the only Million Cups instance in New Mexico, but there are others scattered across the Southwest. So here are our key pillars. These are presentations, not pitches. So in a pitch, your company has everything it needs to succeed except some large amount of money that you're trying to talk somebody out of. And we know that inside a company, the situation is different and there are challenges. There are times when you want to reach out to people to get help with things, to find out stuff that you know that you need to know, but more importantly, your unknown unknowns, the things that you don't know and that you don't know that you don't know. So we're all here for you for that. So we're interested in authentic connections, not networking. It's not a contest to see how many.
There's interpreters. You should slow down just a little.
Slow down a little, boy, that's tough. I've got 2 cups of coffee in me right now. Just watch the tape afterward. Right. So these are authentic connections, not networking. There are a lot of people here with a broad range of experience and training, and whatever problem that it is that you have in your business, they can probably help you out. They might be able to connect you with someone who understands that problem better than they do. And so if you just keep talking to people, eventually you're going to figure out how they can help you or how you can help them. We're run for the community, by the community. All of our organizers are volunteers. That's not to say we don't get anything about it, out of it. Our lives have been really enriched, speaking for myself, by being part of this, being one of the organizers. And we're radically and intentionally inclusive. We support all kinds of entrepreneurship. Mom and pop shops with a brick and mortar operation, whiteboard companies with an idea, maybe a little bit of startup funding, including companies that are on the journey to scaling and making it big. And we welcome all of those people here because I think this community has something to learn from every single one of those people. Yeah, so that's our mission. It's a lot to read, but we're here to help each other out. It's an educational resource to help people connect to the resources that they need to succeed as entrepreneurs. So it's easy to apply to present. You just talk to one of the organizers and we'll talk you through the onboarding process. We'll arrange for a coach and we'll make sure that your presentation is as effective as it could possibly be. So just talk to one of our organizers And they are, here. I'm Paul Sauter, founder and chief scientific officer of Equiseek. Lisa Atkins is global hopping today. Eric Ritz Whitmore is working hard in Santa Fe. Danielle's here. Adam's here. Sonia's online, and Keikoa's here. So talk to any of us if you're interested in participating as a presenter. It's also a pleasure to thank our sponsors, Fat Pipe, our host here for, we're now starting our 10th year. Jason Collin Photography, always making us look good. More Than Organized, providing organization for your stuff, your thoughts, and Creamer. And the Foundation for Sustainable Living, giving us coffee. And Noventum Custom Software, building software that works and providing donuts. And Minuteman Press, putting ink on paper for all of your communication needs. All right, and I'm going to hand it back to Adam.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, so good morning, everybody. We've got a lot going on this morning on top of the usual 1 million cups. There's a crew out here that the online audience cannot see. And we have 19 visitors, at least, from international locations. There are with, what's the name of the group again, real quick? International and Visitor Leadership Group. IVIP. LP. Thank you. All right, so they're going to have a chance to introduce themselves after the speaker today. But that is something that is coming up. So a little a cliffhanger there. So our presenter today is David, and he's been coming for a while, and he's been excited about talking because he's got a lot of neat things happening with his business. And this is like one of our ideal presenters because he has a lot of questions. And we're looking forward to talking with him. And I really enjoy what he's got going on. So David, come on up. And here you go.
Thank you. So.
Hey.
That was great. Now I'm done. So I'm David Wilson. My business is David Wilson Design. David Wilson Design has actually been around for about 20 years. I started it when I'd been in Albuquerque long enough that people started asking me to do graphics projects for them. I'm a graphic designer. And in the beginning, it bought a few lunches and a few cups of coffee. And I was really happy with how it went, considering I had no business experience and I didn't promote it at all. So at the end of last year, my previous employer strongly encouraged me to start developing my own business by replacing me with a minimum wage worker. So I started doing serious work on my own business. Fortunately, I had spent 7 years working for them, developing relationships and doing the business part, which I had never done before. So I was ready to get into doing quotes and getting out to state contracts and doing the nitty-gritty of the business. So this particular van was a van I did a while back for Holman's. We did a combination of matte vinyls, gray and black matte vinyl, and then the pictures were printed on glossy vinyl so that it went down when it was on the road. It had the appearance of like a, if you've seen a brochure that has a varnish on it, it's like shining and matte at the same time. It looked really sharp. So my favorite part of the work is creating narratives. I like taking a customer story and clarifying it to make it beautiful through design. That's my ultimate goal. I think design is like creating a painting, choosing colors and creating a composition that flows and integrates like a puzzle. And when the pieces come together and the story tells itself aesthetically and logically, it's very fulfilling. At my previous job, I mainly did vehicle graphics for first responders. And the most fun part of that, and it goes along with the narrative part, was creating recruiting vehicles. So this is a recruiting vehicle that I did for the Bernalillo Sheriff. They have a lot of really cool cars laying around. So they had this convertible Corvette. and they decided to make a recruiting vehicle out of it. They always want to do flags, so the challenge there is to do the 1,000th flag that they put on vehicles and make it look interesting, which I think worked with this one. It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Driving down the road. Is that the third slide? Or the second page? Okay. So for me, design is really about relationships. And it starts with the relationship with the designer to the customer, and creating a connection to get the customer's ideas across to the public. So a fleet of vehicles can broadcast the vision of a company to an entire city, or a brand identity that you spool out through a store, through vehicles, through printed and digital media. It brings the identity of the company together and makes it coherent to the public. Ideally, the connection between the customer and the designer reaches out to the public at large and makes a connection that draws people in. This project was a catalog for an art show. It was a traveling art show in Albuquerque. So this is the catalog, the cover, and one of the inside spreads. This show traveled all around Albuquerque, and I did 3 editions of the catalog. You can see this is the 3rd edition. So this kind of design is actually my favorite kind. I like print. I started in print, and I've always loved print. And I really enjoy making something beautiful that people can take home and look at and enjoy. So ideally, I'd like to work with clients that have a strong marketing direction, that need help with their graphic look. So I like developing the look for a company or the brand for a company and rolling it out across all the different aspects that a company needs. My goal is to inspire and to bring beauty to what the client is trying to get across. My main challenge, apart from expanding my customer base, is to get out there in front of people. I much prefer being a worker bee and sitting at my desk all day than getting up in front of people, making cold calls, or doing bookkeeping, things like that. Since I've launched my business, I've made a lot of connections, and I've always gotten a warm response, but the follow-up hasn't been very much. So I think that I tell myself that people are really busy. So, but I would love to give some advice on how to approach new clients and how to get them to respond, and how to scale my business. So this was the second company that I worked for when I moved to Albuquerque. And the reason I put this here was because I worked for this company for 10 years, and that terrible logo on the bottom, he would never let me change. And I brought him ideas regularly to try to get him to change that logo. And finally, after about 10 years, he agreed to go with that top logo there, which in my opinion is a vast improvement on the first one. So I developed that logo, and then I developed all the marketing for the company around that logo. And my job was to make sure that everything in the company had the same appearance, that it was all integrated. So that's it.
Thank you, David. So what we're going to do now is people are going to come up and ask questions about the challenges. And the challenges you presented precisely were what again? Just say it again.
To how to get myself out in front of people, how to get people to respond, and how to scale my business up a little bit. Right now, I have some regular clients, but not very many. And I would like to pay the bills.
All right, so the folks can come up. We're gonna form a line right here. There'll also be online, and so Laura is going to tell us when someone else is ready to go. Okay, and so we'll wait for the ones online. Just talk. When you come up here and present, so you can kind of see up here in the corner how much space we have to present. So David, would you move to this side of the banner there? And then other folks can come over here. This nice star, stand here and ask you questions, and stay up here for a while to listen to them or run away. When you're doing this, it's just like a conversation. You can talk to the camera there. You can talk to the camera over there. You can talk to all these folks. Anywhere you want to look, it's just fine. So we're gonna start with Paul.
Hi, and I'm reminding people to give your name and your business when you ask a question. I'm Paul Sauter, Chief Scientific Officer of Equity. We develop genetic tests for horses. So I have a suggestion, and that is, if you contact an individual client and get an individual job, that's one job. But my suggestion is look for people who are using graphic designers all the time. So for example, Noventum is rebuilding our website. They have outsourced graphic design to different graphic designers, and then they bring us, what's been produced. So what you should do is look for people that outsource graphic design and get them as your clients, and then you have repeat business from a single person.
Good morning, Ryan Mass, Senior Strategist with Orange Hummingbird Boutique Consulting Firm here in town. Love the work, love the examples that you provided there. I know this is something in your past and may not be the most exciting all the time, but public entities need graphic design all the time, not just from their cars, but brochures and design of websites, et cetera, support for all of that. And I'm just wondering if you've explored at all, maybe working to get a statewide price agreement, because the biggest hurdle usually for public entities is procurement. How do I actually get that? And if you can alleviate that by going ahead and having a contract underway or a procurement way or a statewide price agreement, make it easy. Then when you're talking to a customer and as a government entity, et cetera, you're like, yeah, you can just use this contract, then it'll move a lot faster. So I don't know if they've explored that, but I think that'd be my suggestion as an opportunity.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've done is I've become a state contract vendor. And one of the interesting things is that to be a state contract vendor, you have to bid on a job. So they put jobs online for you to bid on. And after you bid, you're an official state contract vendor. So I got into the system, but there haven't been any jobs since I got on there in like February that I could actually bid on. So I'm in their system, but I'm not an official state contract vendor. So, and I've worked with state contracts before, so I know that after you bid on it, you get on a list. So, so somebody will post a job or a contract, and you put a bid in, and then they come out with the contract, and it has a whole list of vendors for the customer to choose from. So I'm kind of in the limbo there. Although, like I was saying, I made a lot of good contacts in my previous business. So a lot of those people have been well, not a lot, but some of them have been contacting me because they have kind of an under the table way of doing it, where they don't have to go out for bid if it's under a certain amount. So I've gotten a bunch of jobs that have been under this amount that they're required to bid on, that they've come to me because they like me. And that's worked out really well. So yes, I guess the short answer is that I am in the state contract system, but I have not been listed on any state contracts yet. But I am working for state agencies kind of off in the corner, which is okay, because I don't need to make as much money as a giant company. I don't need to wrap 50 vehicles to be happy. I can do, if I wrap 5 cars, then my bills are paid for 2 months. So, thank you.
Hello, I'm Mary Martisi Pino with Northern Organized. you mentioned that you have a hard time figuring out how to reach out to people and follow up. So have you developed an ideal client avatar yet?
What?
It's who you like to work with, what kind of clients do you want to attract in so that you can focus your messaging on offering something to them. And then you have a place to start when you're calling or networking. Instead of being available to everybody, you can be available to your favorite people first, and then it can ripple. It doesn't mean you don't get to work with whoever you want to that shows up, but it gives you some direction and creating a habit or a routine for who you're going to call, what days, when you're going to follow up, when you're going to send an email, when you're going to send a text. Keep it really simple, but you're right that they do need more than just one call. We get bored with our own stuff all the time, right? We're in it, but your potential clients don't know about all that stuff, so they're not bored.
So what I've done so far, it's kind of like that. I mean, I contacted everybody who I know liked me. And I've reached out to the businesses in town that do what I do, like vehicle graphics companies, large format companies that do banners and signage and stuff like that. And I've gotten good responses, and people always seem to like my work. And then the hard part is that they don't call me back after that. So
You have to remind them.
yes, so I finally got a MailChimp account,
Nice.
and I don't know if that's the best way to do it or not.
It's a great place to start.
Right, so that's kind of my starting point. And but I think that I've sort of done what you were suggesting, but I didn't really.
Maybe some
call it
fine-tuning,
that. Yes,
But yeah,
yeah, I think the fine tuning is the advice that I'm looking for.
iterate.
Right, thank you.
Got somebody online still? Do you want to go ahead and unmute?
Yeah, hi, good presentation. Phil Wilton from Executive Outcomes, thinking differently and simply about strategy. So, a couple of suggestions from me would be, are you a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
No, I'm not.
Then you should be. All right, local Chamber of Commerce will have a office, and in the office they'll have cards of everybody that's members of the chambers. And it's worthwhile going there because you get also all the events that the chamber is operating on a monthly, quarterly basis. And from those events, you can also get business groups that they do. They'll probably do all different types of business groups. And so you can attend those business groups and you've got a place to promote yourself. So you have two ways of getting business. You can either get all the business cards from the Chamber of Commerce, and you can go to the business events and you can promote yourself through the business events. You should also try and contact the economic development councils, the Center for Economic Growth, those kind of organizations within the Albuquerque area. And I think that you would get some good leads for business from those. And the other people I would suggest you try and link with are web developers, people that deal in making web designs. Web designers are kind of good at putting together your website. What they're not so good at, all of them, is actually designing how it looks. Because each web page, each web design that I've had to go through, they're good at putting the thing up, but I've physically had to invent my own design to put on there. And yet I'm looking at your designs and thinking, well, you could probably do a better job than me. So it would be beneficial for you to try and link up with web designers as well. So I'd go with certainly joining the Chamber of Commerce. The other thing I know from when I was living in Albuquerque in New Mexico, the links between all the different organizations, the economic growth, Arrowhead, UNM, 1 Million Cups, the links between them all are so much better than I found in many other states. And so you can utilize those links, all those different people, to find how you can get some additional business. But certainly go with the Chamber of Commerce for starters, because you'll be able to get their look on their website for everything that's going on within your region.
Thanks. Those were great suggestions. I will definitely follow up on those. And I do want to say that 1 Million Cups has been a fabulous experience for me. I started coming here in February or March, and I don't think that I've missed a week since then. And it's not because I get a lot of work or anything. It's just the positive attitude that everybody has and the support. So as a business that's kind of trying to get things rolling, it's been great to come here every week and to hear and to have the support of people and to hear the stories that people have. It's been super encouraging for me.
If you want to do a 1 Million Cups in New York, I will host you over in New York as well. But you'll have to get up
Right.
there.
I'm off to New York.
How's it going, brother? My name is Kei Koa. I'm the co-founder of Legacy Family Documentaries. And something that I heard you say is that you're kind of contacting the people that like you, but you sometimes have an issue of them contacting you back.
Right.
So something that both me and my partner in our own company are trying to do is make a kind of like a offer within those conversations. So offering something that comes either at a discounted or like free price, so that you can at least showcase the type of value that you're bringing to them. So instead of just like, hey, look at some pictures that I did for some other people, maybe it could be like, hey, this is something that I can do for you at free or discounted price, and then have them come back to you on maybe like a watermarked picture that you do that they can't just take the watermarks off and then do something like that, you know?
Right.
Actually offering them some type of value that could actually, and then lead them to future business, and then even just maybe the one-time sell that you need. So maybe something like that. We're working on it ourselves. We're not perfect at it, but I think it's something that we're interested in.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something that I thought about, but I hadn't really worked out how exactly to implement that.
It starts off with the avatar though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it may or may not be a good fit for your business model, both of you, but. it has
I need an
potential.
avatar though. I do.
Yeah. Alan, do you want to go ahead and unmute?
Sure. I had a similar challenge when I first started practicing law, and I talked to a number of attorneys, and I asked them, who do you recommend when asked for a recommendation? And the best answer I got was, well, the last person who talked to me who did that particular practice. So I realized that the challenge was getting in front of people on a semi-regular basis without being a pain in the butt. And the thought occurs to me, I mean, because you said, well, you talk to people, they like you, but they didn't call you back. So you're waiting for them to call you or to contact you. And it seems to me that you need to find a way to regularly contact them without being a pain. And the thought occurs to me that you might want to think about creating a campaign for your company. And once a quarter, sending out an advertisement that demonstrates the creative work that you're capable of doing, letting your work speak for itself by advertising your company. And that gets you in front of them on if it's quarterly, it's not a pain. And particularly if you're really putting your best creative self working for you as your client, you get an opportunity to demonstrate to people what you do. I mean, one of the challenges for a lot of businesses, it's difficult for us to demonstrate our value. Whereas in your case, your value is visual. And so put your best mind to working for your best client, who is you, and build a campaign that just works out throughout the year. And that's not going to be the magic bullet, but it'll be a way to keep your face and your business in front of people and in their mind. So that's the best I got on a Wednesday morning.
No, thanks. I think that's really useful. So that was my hope with the MailChimp account that I got, was my plan was to send out an email like every month to try to get in front of people. So, but so
Yeah,
far,
once a month may be just a little bit much.
well, my experience from what MailChimp tells me, the click-through is, it's not really high. So, I mean, I think that people, they might look at it or they might not, but it's kind of like sending a postcard out. It's a pretty low response rate. So,
Yeah, I think the difference is if have a wide variety of recipients, then that probably makes sense. If it's a more select group, then less is probably more. That's just my sense. I'm not a marketing expert, so.
yeah, so I don't have a huge mailing list, but I do have mailing lists for each industry that I work in. So I have 3 or 4 different mailing lists, and I target my emails to those industries. So they're specific to those people. So I'm not sending police cars to somebody who does store signs, that kind of thing. But yeah, the hard part is really just getting a foot in the door. The people that do use me, I've found, if I go visit them, which Wednesday after 1 Million Cups, when I'm really feeling my oats, I go and I visit my regular clients. And it's not uncommon for them to have jobs. They'll say, oh, here's a job. Here's a couple of jobs for you. So it's like when I go there, they give me stuff, but I can't. You know, if I went to every customer that I was trying to get, hoping that they would give me a job, I wouldn't really have time to do the work. So I'm trying to find a balance between those things.
I'm Brian Steiner with Million Custom Software. We can talk later about our relationship with different designers. Most of these suggestions, I would say that they're tactical. Take this action, or consider this action, consider these steps. I would probably recommend more of a higher level strategic step, which would be to define your sales process. For us, we have about a 6-stage sales process. And then we find areas in that, for example, initial contact, discovery meeting, preparing contract, waiting on signed contract, waiting on payment, initial stages of work, working, done, back burner, or dead to us. So we move clients through this pipeline depending on where they're at from the sales point of view. And then Matthew, our office coordinator, has systematized the discovery steps so that it's really repeatable. I just clone these templated documents and say, hey, you want to do this project? Okay, it's going to cost this much to figure out the database design. I mean, if you define your sales process, then you can tweak. You can say, hey, I want to spend more time on visiting people, and not just any people, but the top 5 people, right? And then once you have that process, all of these tactical suggestions should go somewhere into that sales process, and it'll become more clear where and how and if you should allocate resources. So that's what I would say. And a CRM, customer relationship management, that's like the main software that is used for that, but you can use a spreadsheet, or you could just draw it on a piece of paper or with chalk. It's just the process. It's this pipeline that kind of feeds into itself. It's like a pipeline from the perspective of one person going through, but it's a cycle in terms of customers going through multiple times for a product or project. So if you think about it like that, I think that'll give you a better framework of where to apply these suggestions.
Well, that's great. Thank you. That's exactly the kind of thinking that I like getting from this group, because it's not the way my brain works. So that's exactly what I was hoping to hear.
Good day. Good job. My name is Julie Morrell with Urban Mama 505 Kombucha, and we have a kombucha right on US Route 66. But I wanted to come up today because I am one of David's clients, and I am extremely happy with everything that David has done for us. He does extremely great design work. He is on time. He's quick. And we're really grateful to be working with you. So I'm just here for the encouragement and excellent job on the presentation.
Thanks, Julie. And I love doing Julie's work. It's loads of fun and I think it looks really great. So go get some kombucha from her.
Good morning, David. I'm Barbara Dawson with Purple Mulch. And I've got two things that I'd like to share with you. Do you know this guy here with the camera?
Yes.
Jason, yeah, you know him? When I first met Jason, and he's a visual artist, he does pictures. And what I would notice is that he every Friday would send out, this is what I'm doing this week. We might see landscape in New Mexico, we might see headshots, we might see a variety of things. So if you start using your MailChimp, I would suggest you ask him how he does it, because what it told every person that knows Jason that he's a photographer. And he doesn't just do this or just do that. He does a whole variety of things. So that's one thing. Comments?
No, I think that's a great idea. That's something quick and easy to do. And, you know, it doesn't have to be specific. Just send it out to everybody. And then if 10% of the people open it, then 20 people have seen it. That's great.
And the other thing is the power of referrals. Because put me on your mailing list and I'll see what you do. I may not have a need for what you do today, but I may know someone tomorrow that does. And so to easily forward that message to them would help. Plus it tells me the scope of what you do. I see cars, I see wraps, I see a logo, but I really don't know the scope of what you do. So that gives me, even if it's like going back to old work you did 20 years ago, that's my suggestion, David.
It's great. Thanks, Barbara. So yeah, you know, for referrals, my experience is that you never know where work is going to come from. I have never gotten a job that I've applied for. It's always been somebody who I've talked to and they've talked to somebody else and that person has come to me and I've gotten work from them. So it's really about the connections that you make, which is kind of what I was talking about. So my goal is to make connections, to grow those connections, and from those connections will come the contacts that will make everything work.
Sonia, do you want to?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, David. My name is Sonia, and I am CEO of Women's Thriller Writers Association. And I am a marketing expert. So I wanted to just touch on, well, first of all, email. You are right. The people who are signing up for your email list either have already hired you, right, and love what you do, or maybe they're not quite ready yet to hire you. Right. So you are absolutely trying to keep you top of their mind. So you want to send an email at least once a month. Twice a month is totally acceptable for most people who follow email lists. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But I do want to ask you, have you wrapped your own car to tell people who you are and what you do?
I had not wrapped my truck, which is an old beat up truck, which would look ugly even if I wrapped it, but I did wrap my motorcycle. So everybody who sees my motorcycle says, wow, that's a cool bike. And I tell them that it's wrapped. So.
All right. Now, and that actually answers my other question too, because I would love to wrap my car, but it went through a hailstorm, so it kind of looks like a golf ball. I don't think it would look good wrapped.
So you just need a golf ball design then.
There you go. There you go. I like that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. Hi David. So I'm Rim from Tunisia. I'm a small business owner. I have a brand for maternity stuff and accessories, and I have been working a lot for last years with graphic designers. Most of them are freelancers and branding companies, and I have noticed it. I think it's the same here, that most of these experts in graphic design are not very good in business development for themselves. They do a good job for other companies and brands, but they're not working hard on that for themselves. So I was going to start with a bit of CRM, customer relationship management, but somebody else spoke about it. I think you have maybe to have somebody expert in CRM to help you to put on a strategy for your business, because you always underestimate the time that you should put into this, and it's important to have a routine of maybe you have to find a good frequency for your business once a week, once a month, I don't know, but you have to put on a strategy and to stick into it. To define specific time for calls, for emailings, for networking events, and not to go whenever you are free, but to have really a routine with defined time for that. And you have a lot of happy customers. So I don't know if you are showcasing enough their testimonials on your mails or on your website.
No, I haven't. But I should.
You should, because brands are looking for confidence. We have one. Okay, pardon. So when we are going to hire somebody for the first time for graphic design or branding expertise, it's really important we rely on others' testimonials. So you have to showcase this and to speak about it loud. And good luck.
Thank you. No, that's a great idea. And that's something that I could easily do that I just never thought of. So that's great. Thanks so much.
Hi, David. Hope you're doing fine. Hi, everyone. I'm Fatih from Algeria. I have digital agency. We work on websites and social media and digital marketing for other companies. I've been like you. I've been graphic designer for a long time, since 2014. I started graphic design. And I worked in a printing company for a long time. Then I built a business for that. What I see, and especially I think it's a year ago, it was having, we can say, almost the same struggle you have, and most of problems you have, I still having some of them. But what I get when I read the book, it changed a lot of things in my mind, is the E-myth, entrepreneurship myth. That's the name of the book. He said, and that's the big mistake I was making for myself. I was working in the business, not for the business. So you should work for the business. I hired people who works for me, and I got out to get new clients. So that's what I need to do. So if I be the one who get clients and I be the one who works, for me, we all have 24 hours per day. We can't work, for example, 15 hours in 24 hours. So that's the first problem. And when we hire people, so we are taking more time. Of course, we're gonna take a bit less money because this person gonna take. But if we have many persons who work with us, we're gonna take a lot of money from that. I make money from that. For this, I'm talking about. The new thing that I'm doing right now, after 2 years from starting my digital agency, is now I'm working on automation. I'm working where I can go for 3 months, 4 months, until 6 months outside of my business, and the business still running by itself. For this, lately, I'm looking for a new manager for my business where I can get out and do something else. And that's what I really get from my experience. So just try to don't work in the business, work for the business. Don't work. And second thing is try to getting new high-ticket clients. It's better to work for one client and get $1,000 better than working for 10 clients with $100 to get $1,000. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for your great questions and advice. And David, we wrap up every 1 Million Cups here in New Mexico with 2 special questions. The first one is probably the most important, many would say here. Is it red or green?
It's always green. Green. Because it's so hard to find a place that has good red chili.
So for those audience here that may not know what this question is about, here in New Mexico, we have a special thing called chili. And what we do is we can have either red or green, and there are preferences and sometimes fist fights. So this is the last question we have is, how can this community help you?
Well, the best thing I've gotten from this community is the support. So all the support and these ideas that you've come with me today, it's just super helpful, and it keeps me going week to week. So if I don't know what I would do if I missed one of these meetings.
Thank you, David. I think we have a volunteer from the international group that's going to come up and talk about them. So is that you, young man? Are you the one that gets to talk?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this person wants to talk too. It's great. There's 2. Okay, come on up, both of you then. So we have a neat group here today, and we usually end 1 Million Cups with an activity. And there was lots of good questions and feedback today, so we have a little less time than we usually do. But we usually have people that are new introduce themselves. So we were talking to the interpreters, and they decided that the best way was to have everyone introduced by 1 or 2 of their team. So this young man, come on up. What's your name? Patrick. Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Patrick's going to introduce some folks, and then I guess remind me your name again. I had a hard time pronouncing it earlier. Armami. And from Mauritania. Okay, and they're going to introduce the folks, and so here you go.
Okay, thank you so much. Morning, everyone. Okay, like has been said, my name is Patrick, and I'm from Zimbabwe, and my task was really simple to then just introduce the group. But given that we now have the 2 of us, I'm not sure how we can split the names into half. I'll just mention the countries, and then he can come in and mention the countries that I leave behind. But I was told, as I was given the assignment to say, speak really slowly, because I've got a tendency to speak as if I'm running away from my words. So I'm going to speak slowly. If I do start speaking fast, kindly just try to listen slowly. So we are a group of entrepreneurs from different parts of Africa. I'm from Zimbabwe. I've just got the list of names of the other countries that I have. I'm sure our mom is going to introduce the rest as well. We've got a representation from Algeria. I'm sure you met Fetty. Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Equatorial Guinea, Ethiopia, Gabon. I'll leave the rest to him. And the group that you see is quite diverse in the sense that we have got people that are running different businesses from agriculture right through to digital content creation and creatives. We also do have people that are representing their governments, I think, from the different ministries within their governments, and they are also here just to experience the American culture. So when we left the countries that we left, I'm sure, okay, one important thing is that no one that is in this room from Africa applies to be in the program. They are doing really well in their countries, and they were identified by the American embassies that are resident within their countries to participate in this program.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was told us running away again. So they were identified by the American embassies within their countries to participate in this program. And it should be about 1 or 2 people from each country that's representing their homeland. So in a nutshell, that's the group that we have here. I'll leave the rest to Mami to do.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mami from Mauritania. If you don't know where is Mauritania, we have a border with Mali, Morocco, and Senegal. So the rest of the group are from Nigeria, Somali, Djibouti, and Tanzania also, and Senegal, Tunisia. Sorry, Haiti. They said Gabon. So I'm going to introduce my business or myself. It's okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a co-founder of a business which is working in the digitalization of waste management, the whole process of waste management. our mission is to bring to whole household an access to waste management services. It's a big issue in our country. So why we did that, we put it in place a platform, SIS, software as a services. So which bring to waste management companies like they know where is the waste trucks, how they can collect, etc. We're using IoT, Internet of Things, to geolocalize all of the garbage they have. And we're using AI, artificial intelligence, to plan everyday waste management collection. So our biggest matter, if people doesn't understand what we saying about, when we come to our government company are doing waste management, they said, no, it's so futuristic. You can do that here in Mauritania. Really. We spent 6 months looking for our first client. No. And what we said, okay, we didn't have a client. What we are not doing a proof of concept of our business. And yeah, we started our own waste management company. And now we have about 200 clients using our platform. We have maybe 2 cities we are working for, and it's about 10,000 tons of waste we collected the last year. Yeah. Thank you for everything. It's all for me.
Thank you, Amami. All right, so something I'm going to do is to kind of clarify a bit more. So we heard a lot of folks, and what you usually do is you come up here and you introduce yourself. You say your name and what you're doing. But I also would really like to get all those countries named attached to something here. And I think this is neat. You mentioned that all of you were voted in, or someone else told someone about you, so you didn't get to choose to come, you just accepted. So I think it's great that you're here and that you are also, like, people thought you were a great representation. So I want to I'm going to go through a nice list I have here and see if I understand what's it saying here. So on the first here, I've got Mr. Walter, and you are part of the Ministry of Territorial Administration, right? Yes. And go ahead and stand up. Yeah, that's great. And I'm looking for the location, Cameroon. Yes. Thank you. Mr. Walker. Thank you. And then Rim, I just talked to you a moment ago, Rim, and you also asked a great question. Thank you. And you're from Tunisia, you told me. What is it that your business does?
I have to say.
Just, yeah.
So I have a brand of maternity bags and accessories and clothing. Oh, sorry.
Maternity bags and clothing.
Yes, my business is the brand Primanata, which is luggage or bags brand and clothing brand for maternity.
Right, thank you.
So we manufacture and we design all our products in Tunisia, and we are locally selling now, but we are looking to expand.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rim. And I realize Ministry of Territorial Administration, Mr. Walter, could you just stand where you are, and what is it you do? What does the Territorial Administration do?
Okay, it's just like the ministry in charge of the interior. So
they're in charge. Oh, like the Ministry of Interior,
yeah,
like we are.
Officer, like the district head of Douala, in the littoral, the coastal region. So I believe I have a population of which I govern, and the major activity that we do there is more of agriculture. That is more farming.
More agricultural.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Yes. All right. Now, Fete, you came up and you asked a question. I hope I said your name right. And I understand you're from Algeria, and then you're a content creator for digital marketing. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was very clear. It's good. And then Chizoba? Yeah. Yes, please stand. Okay, Chizoba, you are the managing director of Chizoba Christian, which is your name. What does Chizoba Christian do, and where are you from?
My name is Chizoba Christian from Nigeria, and I'm CEO of G&G Limited. We're into customized, mass-produced branded apparel and souvenirs.
Thank you. Matt Apparel from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gibraltar.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
It's
she made her shirt. She can come up here and show it off. Come on, come up here. You have something to show. Okay,
So I
come up here
offer
and vision.
gifts for everybody.
Oh, she's
I
a
just
gift.
hope- I just hope it's enough
If
to
you
go
have a
around.
gift, say something.
Okay. I have a little souvenir for everybody. I just hope it's enough to go around.
Yeah.
So this is part of my work, what I'm putting on and several other stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gibraltar. Chizzy is easier. Do you want to say her name? So, Ibrahima. Please stand. Thank you. General Manager of Sene VIP from Senegal. What is Sene VIP? Sen VIP. Structure that you build. So cultural and creative industry.
Oh, we made it for Chanel.
Oh,
Because Chanel was in Senegal in the beginning.
Oh, Chanel.
This year. And then we partnership with some designers, our workmates. And then we made this bar and some other stuff.
So you make a structure for a community to build and create things.
Yes, I have a community of something like 40 designers.
Of 40 designers. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ibrahima. All right, and Fatou. Yes, please. And it says here that you're General Secretary of GI Medicines de Agriculture. So that it's in French. So I think the idea is that you're agricultural medicine. You can speak to maybe the translators and they can. And this is in Coley.
So we are a group of agricultural, people who work in agriculture.
People who
and
work in agriculture.
we produce, fruits and vegetables.
Produce fruits and vegetables. And the country is Senegal. Great. Thank you very much. So we're going to go through these a little more quickly here, but Amami, you just spoke. Thank you very much for your smart trash manager from Mauritania. And then Girata, please.
Thank you. Actually, I'm not training for children. I'm doing private sector for
Ministry of Trade. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I'm trying to find the location. Where is this in? Ethiopia. Thank you. I wouldn't hear that. Okay. And then Mohammed.
Yep.
Okay. Musa.
Yeah.
And you are SciMed Lab, iLab.
Yeah, from Somalia.
Somalia.
My name is Mohammed. I'm from Somalia, which I am sure all you have is from the media. And I'm here to get you that. I am from a university called Sema University, which is founded by the current president of Somalia. Somalia has been a lot, it's through a lot, but now things are going well. One of the things that we are having is a high unemployment rate. And I'm running an innovation hub to help young Somalis who are unemployed to get trained on, and we are managing also a microfinance program so that they can also get access to funds and then start businesses.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Contribute to the employment creations in the country.
That's great. All right. So he's part of the university and that is served by the president and they're getting high employment rate, which is great. And he's helping, it's kind of like an incubator or something that helps people create ideas. Rick Boris, thank you. And you're a communication and senior technician, the Bureau of Standardization in the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Where? Haiti. Okay, in Haiti. All right. Thank you very much. Serge. Thank you. Thank you, Serge. And Serge, there is a lot of French here, which I'm not the strongest at. So responsable. What do you do, Mr. Serge? Great, thank you very much.
I've been having a great time since I got to the US, analyzing and tasting all of the coffees that I've had to check out.
That's wonderful. And we have someone here else who makes coffee. Thank you, Serge. Thank you. No, all right. No holding, no. Yes, thank you. Oh, this is Patrick. Oh, okay. Hello, Patrick, who just came up here and spoke. You are Financial Holdings, the executive head in innovation, and that is in Harare. Okay, thank you. All right, so Tekla.
Hi, I'm here.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tekla. I'm from Equatorial Guinea. I'm the managing director of Guinea Equatorial Farms. Why? Because bon, là, il faut continuer en français. 8 millions de dollars sont envoyés à l'étranger pour acheter des produits frais pour les viandes pour mon pays. Donc, nous ne consommons que du congelé. Voilà pourquoi je me suis lancée dans le projet d'un parc avicole. Pour le moment, nous produisons du poulet et des œufs de table. Merci.
So one of the main problems in my country is that we spend $8 million per year importing frozen foods from other countries. And so that's why I decided that I wanted to get into raising hens myself so that my people could have fresh, locally raised chickens.
Thank you. Thank you, Tekla. Zahoro. And you are the Chief Executive Officer in Tanzania Startup Association. Thank you very much. And I'm assuming you do something with the university or you do it on your own, just help with startups.
We are an association for all startup businesses in Tanzania, and our role as association is to lobby and advocate for interest of startups. It is into creating conducive business environment, right policies, laws, regulations, so that startups can access capital, training, and markets to grow.
Oh, so you're helping with making the government also make standards and things. Well, thank you very much. All right, so then we have Jinky. Yes.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Finale Wood. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Green Energy Company, which is specialized in the valorization of sawdust into floor.
Sawdust into floor?
Yeah.
Oh. Into fuel. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So sawdust into fuel. And that's from Cameroon. Is it Cameroon? Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, and Sarah? And this is Nice Design, and that's NYS. And you're the manager. And where are you from?
Moi, je suis from Gabon. Alors, je viens du Gabon.
Oh, Gabon, okay.
J'ai plusieurs entreprises qui font dans le domaine cosmétique, d'invention, d'innovation.
I actually run several companies, some of which are in the cosmetics industry as well as in innovative design.
Nous travaillons uniquement avec nos richesses.
And we only work with natural resources, local, in order to add to the value of our local resources. And of course, we make sure to patent everything that we have designed.
Thank you very much. Iso. Thank you. And Iso, you Isuf. Thank you. Isuf is AEJTCI. And yes, I'm not quite, I'm finding out where you're from.
Je me nomme Paris Issouf, je viens de la Côte d'Ivoire.
My name is Issouf Paré and I'm from Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast.
Je suis président de l'association des enfants et jeunes qui travaillent dans le secteur informel.
I am the president of an association that represents young people who work in the informal sector.
Je suis jeune entrepreneur.
I'm also an entrepreneur myself.
Notre objectif est pour contribuer à l'éducation et l'insertion socio-professionnelle de ces enfants et jeunes qui travaillent dans le secteur informel.
And so my goal is to raise awareness and to educate these young people so they can get out of the informal sector and find work.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Abdullah? Yes, thank you. And so Abdullah, it says Society de Jour. How about you tell us what you're doing?
I'm from the Republic of Djibouti.
Djibouti.
And I have an online media and communications agency.
Online communications agency. Thank you very much. I believe that is everyone who is visiting. Miss Lightness, are you also one of the visitors?
Yes.
Miss Lightness. Yes, and Miss Lightness, you're an economist in the Ministry of Finance. Where? In Tanzania? Thank you. Is that pretty straightforward? That's what you do? So the US Embassy working with projects in the US that's connected to the US. Thank you. And then, so thank you guys for coming, and thank you for everyone else who was patient enough to let me go through everybody. There was just some things that weren't described on here that I thought would be really helpful to know. Paul, did you want to finish up with our question?
Well, it is really fantastic to see our visitors from all over Africa here today. So let's have another hand for all these visitors and all the hard work they've done. Is Laura still here? She's got it. Okay, this is inspiring. I'd like to think that this entrepreneurial energy that we see in this room and the things that you can learn from us and the things we can learn from you will lift us all up and make a better world. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.